yes, I have the privilege to be on the continent where this discussion about the impact is not really it's not present. We don't have to deal with it yet. Everything will come over the channel one day, I know. But for the moment, it's for me, it's very interesting to observe how things happen here. I had a little bit of a taste of it because I've done my postdoc at University of Liverpool about the Liverpool 8 European Capital of Culture, and I was meant to study the social construction of cultural space and the impact of cultural policy on it. So at that time I learned about the preoccupations with impacts. But I came then last year in August to Manchester for a project invited by Carenza from Woodlayer. She was having a project in Cheetham Hill with the regeneration department, and she had known my work in Liverpool, where I've worked mainly with cognitive maps. You will see this a little bit later, what it is, if you don't know what it is. And she asked me if I could join the project for a little pilot project. And discussing with the regeneration department, they were actually very keen on having somebody checking on the no impacts of their own socioeconomic policy in Cheetham Hill. And that's where I came in. I've worked a week in the area of Broughton and Cheetham Hill, and I wanted to find out how people use the facilities like Sure Start centers or job centers, schools and everything else, to see why these are so underused in this area of Manchester, and to understand what is the logic behind the use that people make of these facilities, what keeps them from not using them. So it was organized for me in advance, so I had 6 groups that I should meet. One group had to be cancelled on the spot because actually it was the first day of Ramadan happening and the women just could not spare the time to come and do that. So there are always some little problems when you do your field work. Oh, by the way, I'm social anthropologist by training. Okay, meeting where these are the places where I had meetings. People that are from Manchester maybe know these places. And I met different people there. I did not try, actually, because the work was not meant to be representative. I did not even try to be equilibrated between men, women, and ethnic groups and everything else. But in the end, it worked out rather nicely without even thinking about it. So I had 11 men and 13 women, 16 immigrants, and you can see women and men alike. And so it was a pretty good representation of the situation in that area of Manchester, actually. The difficulties, summertime, everybody tries to go away and has other plans, and there were not as many people available that we would have liked to, but well, we have to deal with all the agendas, and mine could only afford to come in during this week, and then the Ramadan, as I had said already. The methods that I used, the fast and dirty approach, well, in 1 week you can't do much more than walk a lot around, try to talk to as much people as you can, try to get a cup of tea somewhere or go to the museums that are in the area. And then visual anthropology, I like very much to take pictures and make little clips. And then my cognitive maps, which is one of my major methods that I like to use in my work. So what is a cognitive map? Invented by Kevin Lynch and very much used in the 60s and 70s of last century. Wow. And he wanted to find out how a place becomes readable for the people, which are the ways that people have to orientate themselves, and this includes obviously also the places that are emotionally important for these people and that help them to feel at home in the area where they live or where they have to be placed. It was meant in the beginning to be a tool to help urban planning, but I have used it very much exactly to find out about impacts and emotional belonging and emotional emotions that are linked into a landscape which you can't see but people can express very well when they do maps. So it's important to get the maps of each person. So I had individual maps for my work, and then to find out which are the networks in the city of paths, edges, districts, nodes, and landmarks. These are the terms that Kevin Lynch had created. So you have on one side an example of a community map. So the people then in my sessions, in the end, they made a map together, putting all the knowledge that they had about the same area together on one map. And well, you can see that during when they do the maps, the individual maps, and also here, I have done interviews at the same time so that people could explain me and I could put some more questions in it. Because what I wanted to know, what is the journey that you do during the week, where you go, what do you do, and then I asked, and how long does it take for you to go there, and which is the transport that you use. So you can see that there are several points that you could define as maybe districts or at least hubs where you have several things that you can do. You have the doctor, you have the sunbed, you have the dentist, and you have also some shops where you can buy things. So they have put together the understanding of a very small area, actually, if you put it on a map. And this is the world of these people living in that area. So as I said, I had individual maps of the daily journeys, and I asked them to indicate sure start centers that they use, the job centers, schools, and community centers. And then the interviews, and then in the end the community map. About the Sure Start centers, there was also a question that Salford and Manchester wanted to see a bit clearer, because there's actually a city border inside this area. And so you have some schools that have too many children and other schools where are lots of places, and they could not find out actually why people use that school and not the other one, and how this administrative border functions. So they wanted to know how people jump over this border, and if this border actually is administratively interesting or not for the city to keep it. The community maps actually were a rather nice experience, because putting together this with all the people, everybody started to exchange about the things that they know in the area and somebody else did not know. So they started to network among these people that had never met before, actually. And so the maps reflect then, let's say, the expertise of local people about the area they live and they use in their daily journeys. And putting this down, they also could define what actually is lacking in the area, what would be better. And these actually were the things that the Department of Regeneration was interested to get. Yep.
Is each colour a different person?
Please?
Is each of the different colours?
No. Well, yes and no. You have some people that started, and then some people try to put special things of their own in another color in it. But it was not systematic in this map here. Okay. As the other one that we have seen before, everything is in black, so there's no difference. But they have put then their own names to the different places where they went. So this is a map of an Afro-Caribbean domino club. You can see that their life is really around the club. It's the center of it. And everybody comes from everywhere. Some people even taking 1 hour by bus or even by car to come every day to play with the other man there. And they have then decided to mark their point about the 45 years that they're moving around this area, not finding a place they can afford to buy to be stabilized there. Because they don't want to be just a domino club. They want to have the whole community, their families, be able to be there with them. and they only can do that if they have their own place. This is a very good example of unused capital, if you want to put it in these economic terms. Thank you. Because this group is very proactive. They had even done a lottery bid and got money. They have computers. They have all those, these things for keeping fit machines. And they really would like to put them somewhere. They are distributed in the houses of everybody because they have not a fixed place to leave it. And they really would like to have courses teaching about using computer and how to learn how to tailor this kind of thing, and they can't. So this is a very important information actually for a possible impact that the community can bring to an area if the city could help them a little bit to find a place where they will be stable. Here they only have 4 hours a day to play domino and not anything else. And they have indicated also, you can see a car to come in or a bike or how long it takes, 2 to 3 minutes to go to the domino club and everything else. So they were quite precise about their daily journey to the domino club. 6 big issues could be defined after all the interviews in these 5 days. Things that must be improved where actually the policy of the regeneration department is not reaching out at all. To come back to the point reach we had in the first presentation. Information policy. The Sure Start centers have first of all not many informations about what is happening in each center, and they can't give you any information about what is happening in any other Sure Start center in the area, for example. The offer of activities, it's not enough. The transport, the work availability in the area, and their racial and religious tensions, and time. So we will come back to each of the points now. Information policy, it's rather time consuming for mostly for the women that I have interviewed to get any reliable information about what is happening and where they could bring their children to in the Sure Start centers. And there is no networking between those centers to facilitate their life. So they have to walk a lot to find out what is happening and lose lots of time with this. This time could be used otherwise for training or something like that. We will see an example in the end to see how much time is spent actually in 1 week for women. There's also no clarity about the attitude that the different centers have. So some centers say, no, you're from Salford, you can't come in here, it's Manchester. And you have the other version that people in the Sure Start Center will accept everybody. And so there's no transparency about how the rules are meant to function in that area, which allows people then also to manipulate and use it for their own best, which is great. So that's what you have to do in these situations. Yeah, the offers are not adjusted to the parents' needs, actually. You have the sessions for small children in the morning and for older children in the afternoon. So if you have children on both ages, you have to do actually 4 times a day your journey to the Sure Start Center to bring your child, to go back, and then you go and pick it up and go back again. And then in the afternoon the same thing for the other children, while you have still to be available for the children that cannot go in the afternoon to the sessions because the children are too young. So you can imagine, well, you can say, well, it's fine. They don't need to go to an academy and do some sport. They're walking a lot. This is rather healthy. But, well, there are some drawbacks to this lifestyle also. They complained very much about the fact that there are places, facilities, clinics, or even Sure Start centers that you have to make an appointment before you can go. And so they prefer a drop-in service to facilitate their life. There are very few activities available for children with special needs, because there was one woman with an autistic child and she had really difficulties to to help this child to develop with special activities. And what is really important for these people as a place where lots of, I would say, cultural activities are happening, which are then offered like festivals and so on, but also by going into the parks and producing these things by themselves in big families and meeting up and exchanging with other people. So the two parks, 2 or 3 parks that were in Cheetham and Broughton are really very important for these people's lives. Transport, well, for retired people, mostly for the elderly man from the Domino Club, the problem is not in terms of frequency, but that the car drivers like to park their cars where the bus should stop, and then the bus goes several hundred meters further to stop there, and they are elderly and they can't really afford to walk this much, and so that's really, that makes their life miserable. No transversal links between Cheetham and Salford. For example, one woman was doing a master degree in Salford, and she actually had to opt to buy a car to do that, because this came much less expensive to her than really trying to do it by bus, in terms of time and money, which is rather interesting, because she had also children. Because if she wanted to go to Salford, she had to go to the city centre of Manchester and then another bus outwards. So you can imagine this doubles easily the time you need to go somewhere. So the car. Then poverty, obviously. Poverty is one of the main causes that these women walk so lot, because they can't afford to pay a bus for everything. And on the top of it, the buses are not going where they needed the bus to go. The bus then is something exceptional when you have to visit a family member which is out of walking reach in their lives. Work, that was interesting. If these women wanted to work, for example, they needed to have something in a limit of 30 minutes walk. It could not be more than that, because otherwise they can't combine the family duties, so the famous double job that women do is not anymore feasible for them. The only woman that had actually here an option was that woman that had gone to Salford for a master degree, and she said for her it's clear, if there's no job for me in these terms, I will leave Cheetham and will go somewhere else, because she can afford to do that. But this would then actually be a rather big loss if these people with this training would leave the area, because they have big potentials also. Very interesting that it seems that, because most of the husbands of these women were unemployed and had actually no role at all in any household activities or taking over the children. So there is no way for these women to escape actually this limited space, territory where they can live and develop their life, because, well, they can't go any further. The man and a woman can go a bit further, any job, anywhere, but the women are stuck because they walk. Prejudice, in several levels. Anything offered by government is necessarily less efficient than the same service offered by a private enterprise. So nobody was using any of the job centers in the area. Everybody tried to go to the city center, to a private job center, because they were convinced that it must be necessarily better to find a job then. And also, there is not enough information for the women about what Sure Start centers are for, and many have lack of trust to leave their children somewhere else, because it's sometimes culturally defined. You should not leave your small children with people that are not of the family, and so they can't really get integrated in the system to have a better development for their children. And it's lack of information that comes in a way that they can accept. Yes, and also in the other sense, there was a big lack of the cultural context of immigrants in the area, and lots of, let's say, you have to call a cow a cow. And there were lots of racist discourse actually in the individual interviews about those immigrants that are everywhere, and you could possibly leave your child in a Show Start center where are so many children from other countries, they do not speak the language and so on. There's a long list of complaints in this sense. Yeah, and this is the famous, and then I will be nearly at the end, example of one of the women. The key for change actually in this area is another time management for these women, to make them available actually for the labor market. So one woman with 2 children in those different ages, she works 8 hours per week to bring her son and her daughter every day to Show Start Center. If she works, she has a job which is on and off, and then it's only 5 times, but still, would still be 5 hours per week if she works. And then 1 hour and 40 minutes to bring her daughter to the school and bring her back. You can say it's only 5 minutes, but then 5 minutes to go, 5 minutes to come back, and then again to pick them up, then you have already 20 minutes. And so you get something like 9 hours and 40 minutes only with the children course you have to do. And then you have to go shopping, you have to go to the park, you have to go to the post office, to the bank, and everything else in GP. In the end, it comes up to 10 to 11 hours per week that are spent by walking around doing this type of things. And if you could spare this time for something else, these women could be really available and get onto a job or get some training. So here are some suggestions that I've made to the Regen Center to change actually and get a better impact of their policy in this area. More reliable information, because it must become clearer inside the agencies, and get better networking between them so you can spare you walking around. Information hubs, you should get all types of information in different places. The library is very important because many of these people go there to use the computer. They don't have a computer at home. And so if you can get already there the information about what is happening in the Show Start centers, it's only one walk, so you can diminish the time. So there are lots of possibilities how to improve very simply the life, the journeys of these people in Cheetham Hill in Broughton. And create for me an exchange market. The workshops with the community maps were the best example for it, because it started very fast that the people that did not even know each other exchanged information, said, oh, you can do this, and do you know about this GP which is much nicer than the one you are still going, and this kind of thing. It creates a solidarity among these people, and this can also bring up a kind of network. If you need to go somewhere, you have somebody in the area that can take care of your children for that moment. So you have lots of potential of improving the life of these people. And again, it's not cost intensive, it's really just rethinking the situation. And well, there must be more done about intercultural understanding in this area. I have put something very general here, but well, I'm quite sure that there can be something worked out that is a bit more interesting than just, oh, bring your typical food from home so you can share it, which is normally done. I really hate it, as you might have noticed. So from the pilot project to what? Because, yes, I did this last August, but then the government changed. And that's my last one here. And so that the problem is with all, if you want to have an impact also with your research on the policy and on what is happening in an area, there must be some continuity, and political continuity for these kind of questions is absolutely too fragile. You have centralized decisions that are taken for a national level, and it's not the same in Manchester or Liverpool or in London or even in Aberdeen, if you want to stay there, there must be more power transferred to the local level of the cities. And normally policy is more about power and not about the people, actually. You have the surveys, it's very distant from the people. That's why they wanted me to do something which is nearer people. You cannot really say that it's representative what I've done, but actually, and I think Abby will say something about it, it had an impact, which I'm really happy to learn 10 months later here. So, and some pleading for people that work with qualitative methods, really. I really would like that this attitude to our methods would change. It needs a change on the political side. We need more recognition for it so that we can also talk about beauty and have confidence in our instinct. Thank you very much.